Hello, welcome. For those of you who are watching me for the very first time, my name is James Ambroise, and on this channel we cover how to pay off debt faster than any other debt repayment method out there. We cover basic bookkeeping and accounting for someone who just started out a small business. We cover basic personal income tax to include a Schedule C, Schedule E, depreciation. I am also the author and creator of Ambroise Method 1.0 and Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity banking. Real quick about my credentials, I have been or am a bookkeeper and accountant, QuickBooks Pro advisor, senior tax advisor, residential real estate investor, residential property manager, financial coach. And as always, before we get started with what's on the board, please allow me to shout out the name Jesus, my Lord, my God, my Creator. Thank you. All right, America, on the board we have this hypothetical scenario of somebody who filled out one of my Microsoft Excel worksheets, and the person provided me with these figures. For debt, this person has a Chase credit card, Wells Fargo credit card, car loan. The credit limit, $9,000. The APR, 29.49%. Balance owed, $8,000. Monthly payment charge, $304. Availability, America, we've learned on lesson 1 that the availability is the relationship between the credit limit and the balance owed. That relationship calls for a subtraction operation. 9,000 minus 8,000. That's how we arrive at 1,000. Credit utilization is the relationship between the balance owed and the credit limit. That relationship calls for a division operation. 8,000 divided by 9,000. That's how we arrive at 88.89%. Payment rate charge. Payment rate charge is the relationship between the monthly payments charged and the balance owed. That relationship calls for a division operation. 304 divided by 8,000. That's how we arrive at 3.80%. Okay? Now, Chase is offering balance transfers, and the transfer is same as purchase. So the transfer is not a 0% intro, it's not a 1.99% intro. The purchase will be, the APR will be same as purchase, which means going to be 29.49 if you take advantage of that balance transfer. And the balance transfer fees is at 4%. Okay? On the Wells Fargo credit card, same thing. Wells Fargo is offering balance transfers. And the balance transfer, the APR is same as purchase, which means going to be 18.24 if you're going to take advantage of the balance transfers. And for balance transfer fees, it is 4%. Okay. On a car loan, it is a 5-year term. And right now we're inside year 2 of 5. Okay. Now we're doing a scenario for a college student. His income is on a part-time income. He gets paid on the 4th, and the next paycheck gonna come 14 days later on the 18th. And his total take-home pay, $1,804.72. His expense is $1,620.72. The expense, that's when you add all these amount that we have on the board. Okay. Now he's a college student. His parents taking care of the other items that are not on the board. Okay. So this is all that he's responsible for. Okay. Now, out of these items, 872 could go on a credit card. That's when you add these bills, these expenses. YouTube TV could go on a credit card. Netflix could go on a credit card. T-Mobile could go on a credit card. Groceries could go on a credit card. Fuel for his vehicle could go on a credit card. Restaurant could go on a credit card. When you add them up, the total is $872. Okay? His total debt, $22,709.80. The debt, that's when you add all these balances. $8,000 plus $170 plus $14,539.80. That's how we arrive at $22,709.80. Okay. This cash flow, America, remember from prior lesson that cash flow is the relationship between the income and the expense. That relationship calls for a subtraction operation. $1,804.72 minus $1,620.72. That's how we arrive at $184 in cash flow. Okay. Today, I believe this is going to be lesson number 12. And today's date is November 18th. 2023. Okay. And question posed to me from the last lesson was, James, can you show us how to employ Ambroise's charge pay technique normal and Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement in order to facilitate balance transfers between accounts? In other words, how to use Ambroise's charge pay techniques for balance transfers. Now, on the last lesson, we've already covered Ambroise charge pay technique normal. Today, we'll cover Ambroise charge pay technique inducement. Okay. All right, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to start with the exercise. Real quick, America, on our method, we have two different types of users. We have what we call a normal user. And we have what we call an advanced user. A normal user, America, on our method, for those of you who missed that lesson, is a user that takes advantage of transfer, that takes advantage of cash flow. Okay. A normal user does not utilize alternative account because they don't quite understand it yet. Okay, because remember, the alternative account is a very dangerous account. So for that reason, a normal user will be using his saving or checking account to pay off debt. Okay. An advanced user, on the other hand, obviously is one that takes full advantage of everything that we have on the board. An advanced user take advantage of transfers. An advanced user take advantage of alternative account. And an advanced user utilizes cash flow. Okay? That's the difference between the two. Okay? All right. Now, real quick, let's define Ambroise's charge pay technique normal and Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement. And for this technique, we have two variations of it. One of them we call normal. Okay, so that's Ambroise's charge pay techniques normal. Then another variation we refer to as inducement. So that is is Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement. Okay. Ambroise charge pay technique, America, in case you missed that lesson, is a detailed process where you charge one account, and the account that you charge is the lower APR account. Then you pay another account, and the account that you pay will be the higher APR account. With available cash on hand. And the cash could come from yourself, so your own cash, a friend, okay, a family member, other people, or the cash could come from an entity, whether it's your own entity or someone else's entity. Okay. And this is true for both the normal one and the inducement one. Okay. So on the normal one, the cash will come from yourself, your friends, your family, other people, other entity. The inducement one, same thing. The cash will come from yourself, your friend, family member, other people, other entities. Okay. The only main difference with those two is on the inducement one, you have to negotiate some form of inducement or fees. Okay. In here, you do not negotiate any form of inducement or fees. And the inducement or fees will come from your effort, or obviously some kind of monetary value that you have to give, so fees. So here, no effort, no fees. Okay? So that's the main difference between those two. Okay? They do pretty much the same thing, except in the inducement one, obviously, there has to be some form of inducement or fees. Okay? Now, from our research, we found out that college student, his parents own her house. And the property tax on the house is $2,000. And we're in November, the property tax is coming up due. Okay? So you could pay it early. They could pay it early if they want to. Okay? In the state where the college student is from, the property taxes starts in November. Well, you could pay them as early as November to get the largest discount. Okay? And the property insurance is coming up due as well. Okay? So, having this internal knowledge, okay, and looking at the debt that could go on a credit card and how much money that's owed on a higher APR account, we know if we use just this one by itself, okay, because some of you already learned how to employ Ambroise charge pay technique normal. 872 is quite small compared to what's owed. 8,000 is owed. So more than likely we're gonna need another tool, okay, to use in concert with this one, okay? And so since we know that, again, the property tax is coming up due on his parents' home, the property insurance is coming up due, and that's exactly what we're gonna do, okay? So the conversation gonna go like this, okay? Remember, America, the cash could come from a family member, okay? So the property tax, $2,000, his parents usually pay cash for the property tax. The property insurance, $4,000, his parents usually pay cash for the property insurance, okay? So, college student just gonna approach his parents, hey, mom and dad, can I pay the property tax for you with my credit card. Remember, on the lower APR credit card Wells Fargo, that when we take a look at the availability, we have funds available, 9,830. Okay, so he has enough available to cover those bills. Okay, and these bills, again, they are not his bills; they are his parents' bills. Okay, so conversation gonna go like this again. Mom, Dad, can I pay for your property tax with my credit card? Can I pay for your property insurance with my credit card? And the cash that was earmarked for the property tax, for the property insurance, okay, you'll give me the cash instead. Okay? So that's exactly what happened. College student approaches parents. Parents say, yes, I'll give you the cash, but you have to pay for my phone bills. Okay? They don't really need them to pay for the phone bill, but they want to teach them a little bit of discipline, so they ask them to pay for the phone bill. Okay? And that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay? So on the charge part, because remember today we're covering Ambroise charge pay technique, inducement. The inducement part gonna be the phone bills. Okay? Some form of inducement or fees. So he's gonna pay his parents' phone bills for them, which is $50. That's the inducement portion. Okay? So on the Wells Fargo has availability, and Wells Fargo has the lower APR. Okay? So you're going to charge the Wells Fargo the $2,000 for the property tax, the $4,000 for the property insurance, and then later on, or at some point, you're going to pay the higher APR account, which is Chase. Okay? And again, he's going to collect the cash from his parents, and he will deposit the cash temporarily in a checking account. So now the checking account going to have $6,000 in it. But instead of paying the bills with the cash that he collected from his parents, he's going to pay the bills with the credit card instead. Okay? This is how we're going to do our balance transfers. Okay? And again, we're going to charge the credit card. And the card we're going to charge is going to be the lower APR account. The lower APR card is Wells Fargo. Then we're going to pay the higher APR account. The higher APR account is Chase with available cash on hand. And where is the cash going to come from? The cash is going to come from his parents. Okay? So once he collects the cash from his parents, he's going to again temporarily deposit it into the checking account. So later on, you can make the payment to the higher APR account, which is Chase. Okay? All right, America. Now, let's run Ambroise Method 1.0. And since we're doing a complex scenario, Ambroise Method 2.0. America, now let's take a look at the balance owed column. The Chase balance owed is $8,000. Wells Fargo balance owed $170. And car loan $14,539.80. Now, America, let's pay attention only to the Wells Fargo credit card. The balance owed is only $170. Meanwhile, college student has a cash flow available $184. So with the cash flow, you could easily get rid of this Wells Fargo 170 because 184 is larger or bigger than 170. Okay? But just like we've talked about from prior lessons, please resist the temptation of paying off this 170 because the Wells Fargo remainder balance 170 is at 18.24%. Okay? And again, I'm going to show you a better way. Let's talk about the difference real quick between the Wells Fargo and the Chase. The Chase is 29.49. And the Wells Fargo one is 18.24. Okay. The difference of, let's see, 29.49 minus 18.24 and difference of 11.25%. Okay. So because the Wells Fargo America is at a much lower APR, we are not going to pay off this Wells Fargo. Okay. Instead, we're going to take advantage of the availability from the Wells Fargo, which is $9,830. Okay. And again, America resists the temptations of paying off this low balance 170. Okay. If you're someone who follow that snowball, you're gonna rush in and try to pay off this balance in order to cut up the credit card. Okay. And just like I've shown you from a prior lesson, there is a better way. Okay. And not just that snowball, some faction of velocity banking will also rush in and pay off this low balance. Okay. So if you belong to these two groups, again, resist the temptation of paying off this balance 170. Okay. Because on our method, we like to work on the right account, not the wrong account. Because the account that you need to work on is the account with the higher APR, not the one with the lower APR. That's not hurting you much. Okay. All right, America. Now let's run Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method 2.0, America, calls for a series of steps. And those steps has to be taken at least once a month. And these steps are segregate, compare, let's go over the list real quick, transfer, repeat, and there might be some conditions, some exceptions, some restriction to the strategy. And we're going to cover condition, exception, restriction maybe on another lesson. Okay? And you have to stay above the line, there goes the line, for as long as you can before you go downstairs, before you go below the line. And below the line, you have to answer some questions. Can I use cash flow or can I make a large payment? And then you have to answer the what, WHT, the what, which account, how much of a payment to pay off which debt. And again, for those of you who missed that lesson, the steps for Ambroise Method 2.0 are segregate, compare, transfer, repeat, cash flow, large payment, and then the what. Answer the what. Which account to use, how much of a payment to send, and to pay down or off which debt. Okay? These are the steps for Ambroise Method 2.0, and these steps have to be taken at least once a month. Okay? Now, America, let's segregate. To segregate, we look at the list of debt, and we're trying to put some kind of order and on the list. And the way we segregate, I like the revolving credit account on top, and I prefer the installment credit account at the bottom. Okay? So on the board, we have Chase credit card, that's revolving credit account. We have Wells Fargo credit card. That's another revolving credit account. Then we have a car loan. That's installment credit account. Okay, so the list is perfect. I got my 2 revolvings on top, and I got my 1 installment at the bottom. Okay, so as far as segregation, America, the list is perfect. Okay, and to save time, I've already rearranged the list. Okay, next, America, we compare. And the way we compare, America, we compare by APR between account types. Remember, we have 2 revolving and 1 installment. So between account types, we compare by APR. And again, we're trying to put some order on the list. Okay? And I prefer the higher APR on top by account type. Okay? So we have these 2, the higher APR on top. So 29 is higher, is bigger than 18. So the higher on top, and the lower APR at the bottom by account type. The column is an installment credit account, so it's by itself, by account type. Okay? So I've already again prearranged the list, rearranged the list is perfect. Okay? To save time. Okay? Next, America, we transfer. Okay? And remember, today we're gonna be employing Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement, or at least the inducement one. Okay, it might be a combination of everything after everything's said and done, but for sure we're going to cover Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement. Okay, and remember, Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement is a detailed process where you charge one account, and the account that you charge is going to be the lower APR account. Then you pay another account, and the account that you're going to pay will be the higher APR account. Okay, by negotiating some form of inducement or fees. Okay, we already talked earlier that the inducement or fee is going to come in the form of the fund bills that college student is forced to pay. Okay, in order to gain access to the cash from his parents, the $2,000 and the $4,000, so $6,000 total. And the way we transfer America, we're trying to relocate balances on a debt that has a higher APR, while the debt with the higher APR is chased. Oh, by the way, when we were comparing, we're trying to identify the enemy, the troublemaker. And the account with the higher APR is the enemy. The account with the higher APR is the troublemaker. For that reason, Chase is the enemy in this particular example. Chase is the troublemaker in this particular example when we were comparing. Okay? All right, now transfer. So again, we're trying to relocate balances from higher APR account to the lower APR account. Okay? So now the higher APR account is Chase. The lower APR account is 5.25, which is the car loan. But America, we cannot add balances to the car loan. Okay? So for that reason, the car loan is a no-go. Okay? So in this case, we're going to move from the highest APR to the next lowest APR account. So the next lowest APR account is the Wells Fargo one. Okay? So, but Wells Fargo is offering balance transfer, but the fees at 4%. So, if we're gonna employ Ambroise charge pay technique inducement, okay, we have to do better than the 4% fees, okay? And $50 inducement, okay, will be better than 4%, okay? All right, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. And remember, again, we're gonna employ Ambroise's charge pay technique, where we're gonna charge one account, and the account we're going to charge is going to be the lower APR account, which is Wells Fargo. Okay? And we're going to use the parents' bills to charge the Wells Fargo with. So property tax, Wells Fargo will be charged $2,000 for the property tax. Property insurance, Wells Fargo will be charged $4,000 for the property insurance. So in total, Wells Fargo will get charged $6,000. Okay? So America, under a normal transfer, this is how it'll look like. You charge, you relocate balances from the chase. Under a normal balance transfer, so the balance from the chase will get decreased by the amount of the transfer. In this case, since we're gonna use parents' bill, so it'll get decreased by 6,000. And under normal transfer, you relocate that balance to the lower APR account, so the Wells Fargo will get increased by 6,000. Okay, that's under a normal balance transfer. Okay. All right. And under our artificial type of balance transfer and Bush charge pay technique, we're gonna kind of do the same thing. We're going to charge the lower APR account, so Wells Fargo will get increased by the amount the charges, 2 and 4, that's 6. Then we're going to pay the higher APR account. So Chase, when we send a payment to Chase, Chase will get decreased by the amount of the payment, which will be $6,000. Okay. Same thing. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Okay. Again, college student will collect the funds from his parents, so that's $6,000. Deposit the money to his checking account. Deposit the money to his checking account. Okay. Then, since we're employing Ambroise charge pay technique, charge the lower APR account, which is Wells Fargo. Okay. And then pay the higher APR account. Okay. So now let's run the numbers. Okay. Since he's going to pay the higher APR account with 6,000, remember he'll collect the funds from his parents. So now he has 6,000 available in the checking account. So from the checking account, you'll send a payment to the Chase. So for that reason, the balance on the Chase will get decreased once the payment gets posted. Okay. So Chase, credit limit 9,000, APR 2949, balance owed. Remember, you'll collect the 6,000 from his parents and send a payment to the Chase. So 8,000 minus the 6,000 bucks, okay, is 2,000. The monthly payments charged, 3.80 of the balance owed, so 2,000 times 3.80. Okay, we're using overall flat rate just to make our job a little easier. Okay. Remember, in real life, you do not have to compute the monthly payments charge. Okay. Chase will let you know how much your minimum monthly payment is going to be. Okay. And just for illustration, we normally use a flat rate just so we could come up with some numbers. Okay. The availability is credit limit minus balance owed, so 9,000 minus 2,000 is 7,000. Credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit, so 2,000 divided by 9,000. We got 22.22%. And payment rate charge, we say was 380, but let's do it just for good measure. Monthly payment charge divided by balance owed, 76 divided by 2,000. Okay, 3.80 like we knew it was. Next is the Wells Fargo credit card. Okay. Credit limit 10,000. APR 1824. Balance owed. Now remember, we're going to charge the Wells Fargo by these amounts. So the Wells Fargo get increased by 2,000, 4,000, which is 6,000, and the Wells Fargo get increased by the inducement, okay, which was the phone bill, $50. Because remember, they're only gonna give him the money if he agrees to pay for the phone bills. Okay, the phone bill represents the inducement. Okay, so it'll be 2,000 plus 4,000 plus 50,000 plus the 170. Okay, so again, the Wells Fargo will get increased by the 2,000, by the 4,000, and by the $50. Okay, so altogether, the new balance for Wells Fargo will be 6,220. Okay. Monthly payment charge, Wells Fargo charges $25 minimum or 3.44% of the balance owed, whichever is greater. So 6,220 times 3.44%. So now we're at 213.96.97. So we're running up. Okay. Availability is credit limit minus balance owed, 10,000 minus 6,220. So we're at 3,780 bucks. Okay. And credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit, 6,220 divided by 10,000. 6,220. And payment rate charge can be the 344, but let's do it just for good measure. Payment rate charge is monthly payment charge, so 213.97 divided by balance owed 6,220. Okay, so we are at the 344 that we knew it was. Okay. And the car loan, we did not touch the car loan, so car loan will stay the same. To recap, okay, we are employing Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement. And Ambroise charge pay technique inducement is a detailed process where you charge the lower APR account. The lower APR account is Wells Fargo. So we'll charge it. So Wells Fargo balance will get increased by the amount of the charge, which was 2,000 plus 4,000 plus $50 inducement. Okay, so when you add them up, Wells Fargo is 6,000, becomes 6,220. So that was the charge part. You charge the lower APR account. Okay, then you pay the higher APR account. The higher APR account is Chase. So you send a payment to Chase, okay, for the available cash on hand. Remember, we've already collected he already collected the 2,000 and the 4,000, so now he has 6,000 available in the checking account. Okay, so 8,000 minus the 6,000, so that's how we arrive at 2,000. So charge the lower APR account, then pay the higher APR account with available cash on hand. 8,000 minus 6,000, 2,000 remaining. Okay. All right. Now, America, is there an opportunity to repeat the transfer? Because remember the steps: segregate, compare, transfer. We've done one transfer so far, and that transfer was Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement. Okay. So now, can we repeat? Because remember, we're trying to stay above the line, America. That was the line. We're trying to stay above the line for as long as we can. And remember, truly, really, the only item that are above the line is just transfer. Now, can we transfer? Now, let's take a look. Remember, on our method, again, we hate to have to babysit balances from on a debt that has a higher APR. Well, we have balances on a debt that has a higher APR, so we have 2,000 here. And we hate to have to babysit balances on a debt that has a higher APR. So we're always trying to relocate them to a lower, better interest rate environment. Okay. The lower debts still have availability, 3,780. Okay. But if we use, so we could easily relocate some of that balance to the lower APR account. But Wells Fargo is charging 4% in balance transfer fees. Okay? So the fee is too high. Now, on the first transfer, let's figure out real quick how much that balance transfer cost us. Because remember, the first one, the inducement one, order cost us $50. And we moved 6,000. Let's figure out real quick how much that is. 50. .83%. So the first transfer cost us less than 1%. Okay, because remember, we moved $6,000. It only cost us the inducement, which was $50. So 6,000 times 0.833%. Okay, so we are about $50. Okay, that's how much the first transfer cost us. Okay, which was better. 0.833% is better than 4%. Okay, because this 4% is quite high. Okay, and that was on the first transfer. And now again, we're gonna try to see if we could employ another type of balance transfer where it's gonna cost us less than 4%. Well, Ambroise charge pay technique normal does not cost us will not cost us anything. Okay. And from the last lesson, we know that we could use this amount of some of the bills that could go on a credit card. Okay? And again, Ambroise's charge pay technique norm. Now we're done with inducement now. So we're gonna do a different type of transfer. This one's gonna be Ambroise's charge pay technique normal. Okay? And again, Ambroise charge pay technique normal is a detailed process where you charge the lower APR account, which is Wells Fargo. Then you're going to pay the higher APR account, which is Chase, with available cash on hand. Okay? Now, college students' total take-home pay is $1,804.72, which is more than enough to pay all those bills. Okay? Because he has cash flow, which means his income is greater than his expenses. Okay? So you could pay all these bills with cash, but instead he's going to pay these bills with a credit card. Okay? So he's going to charge the credit card so he could pay the higher APR credit card with available cash on hand. Because remember, cash could take care of all these bills. He made enough money to take care of all these bills. Okay? But instead of paying them with cash, he's gonna pay the ones that could go on a credit card with a credit card. And we've already identified that YouTube TV could go on a credit card, Netflix could go on a credit card, T-Mobile could go on a credit card, groceries could go on a credit card, fuel for his vehicle could go on a credit card, restaurant could go on a credit card. And again, when we tidied it up, when we add them up, $872. Okay? So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna charge the lower APR account with these. And then we're gonna pay the higher APR account with available cash on hand, because now the cash is free now to go somewhere else. Okay? Because he didn't have to pay this bill with a credit card. So once you pay this bill with those credit cards, okay, you satisfy these bills. Okay? The cash that would normally be earmarked to take care of those bills, now the cash gonna go to the higher APR account instead. This is good stuff, That's exactly what we're going to do. So now Chase will get decreased by the amount of the charge, which is $872. That will be the cash portion. And Wells Fargo will get increased by the amount of the charge, which is $872. So the credit limit, again, now we're repeating the process. Okay? Credit limit, $9,000. APR, $29.49. We're right here now, $29.49. Balance owed. Now, $2,000. Remember, at some point we're gonna send a payment to the $2,000. Okay. But the payment won't come until during the paycheck. Okay. So for that reason, Chase right now will stay the same, because remember, the payment, okay, hasn't arrived yet. Okay, so Chase will stay the same, $2,000 for now. Monthly payments charge, availability, credit utilization, payment rates charge, $380. Remember, you can't make the payment yet because you don't have the funds yet. Okay, the paycheck hasn't touched down yet. Okay. But Wells Fargo, credit card, $10,000. 1824. Balance owed. Now you could charge any times. So balance owed, but on paper. So we're gonna do it right now on paper. 6220 minus, plus, because you're charging the Wells Fargo. Okay, you're gonna put all these bills on the Wells Fargo. And again, YouTube TV, Netflix, T-Mobile, groceries, fuel, restaurant. Okay, when you add them up, the total $872. So Wells Fargo will get increased by the amount of the charge, $872. So Wells Fargo is 6220 plus 872. Wells Fargo new balance America will be 7,092 on paper. Okay, and the monthly payment charge, Wells Fargo is 3.44, so 792 times 3.44%, okay, is 243.96. Availability, America is credit limit minus balance owed, so 10,000 minus 7092, 2908. And where am I? I'm right here. And credit utilization is balance owed divided by credit limit. So 7092 divided by 10,000. We are at 7092. And payment rate charge should be the 344, but let's do it just for good measure. Is monthly payment charge divided by balance owed, so 243.96 divided by 7092s. Okay, 3.44. Okay, all right, and the car loan again, we did not touch the car loan. 20,000. 525. 14,000. 539. 80. 379. 72. Not applicable. Not applicable. 2.61. Okay. Alright. To review. Okay. This bill could go on a credit card at America. But instead of paying them, could be paid with cash. But instead of paying them with cash, okay? Because the paycheck has not arrived yet. We're gonna instead charge them with a credit card on paper, okay? Just so we could have some numbers, okay? And we're gonna charge them on the credit card. And the credit card we're going to charge will be, again, the lower APR account. So that'll be the Wells Fargo one, because Wells Fargo is lower than the Chase. So the balance of the Wells Fargo will get increased by the amount of the charges. So 6220 plus these charges, which was 872 total. So 6220 plus 872 total, we're at 7092. That's the charge part. On Ambroise charge pay technique, normal. That's the charge part. Later on, once this paycheck comes in, we're gonna send the payment. That'll be the pay part. Okay? Yeah. And this is only on paper. Okay? In real life, things will work out slightly different, but on paper, we have to know our numbers, so we're gonna start charging just so we could figure out our numbers on paper. Okay? 5-10 seconds to take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. Now, taking a look at the balance owed, we see that the chase has 2,000, but we know we took care of the charge, we haven't paid yet, so we know that balance is going to get reduced, okay? So for that reason now, all the items that are above the line, America, have completely been exhausted, so we are done with the items that are above the line. So now we're going to go downstairs, so we're going to go and downstairs we have to ask some questions. Can we use cash flow or can we make a large payment? Okay. College student did not receive any income tax refund during this period. He did not receive any bonus check during this period. He did not receive any additional funds that would consider or represent a large payment. Okay, so now we're going to be dealing with cash flow. Okay, so now for that reason, let's figure out how much his new cash flow will be. Okay, and the way we determine cash flow, America, we take a look at the original monthly payments charge minus the new monthly payments charge, or we only take a look at the amount that got affected. Okay, 304, well, this one changes to 76. 25, well, that one also changes to 243.96. The car loan 379.72 stays 379.72. So the two accounts that got affected is the Chase 304. 304 becomes 76, and Wells Fargo 25 becomes 243.96. Okay. So it will be 304 plus 25 minus the new amount, 76 minus 243.96. Okay. So it looks like his cash flow got increased by $9.04. Okay. His original cash flow was $184. So now his new cash flow is $184 plus the $904. Now his new cash flow is $193.04. Okay, that's his new cash flow. And again, we try to answer these questions now. Okay, can we use cash flow or large payment? We know it's going to be cash flow, and the new cash flow now is going to be $193.04. Okay. Now the what? Which account? How much of a payment to send to pay down or off which debt? Okay. So which account? Okay. On our method, America, we always look for three main accounts. The accounts that offer us greater results in terms of reducing interest cost, the account that offers greater liquidity, and the accounts for better movement. Okay. So first in line are greater results. And this is generally the account with the higher APR. While Chase has the highest APR. So this one will be Chase. Okay. Next, we look for the account for greater liquidity. So next in line, or greater liquidity. Because remember, we're running Ambroise Method 2.0 for an advanced user, not a normal user. Okay, so now let's find the account for greater liquidity. So on the board we have Chase credit card. Well, Chase is a credit card, and we know only 872 could go on a credit card when the expense is a lot higher. So Chase cannot offer us greater liquidity. Wells Fargo is also a credit card, and again we have 872 that could go on a credit card. So the amount that could go on a credit card is limited. Okay, when the expense is 1,620.72, the expense is a lot higher. Okay, so Wells Fargo cannot offer us greater liquidity. The car loan, well, it's a car loan, it's installment credit account, cannot offer us greater liquidity. In this case, America, the checking account will offer us liquidity. Okay, and the third main account we normally look for, like our Ford mentioned, is the account for movement, for better movement. Income and expenses, and that account is generally the account with the higher APR. Okay, and the account with the highest APR is Chase. Okay, generally we do have some exceptions, but generally it is the account with the higher APR. Okay, all right, America. So now we have our three accounts. But when we look at the list, we have Chase for greater results, and we also have the same Chase for movement. Okay? So we have what we call redundancy. Okay? We're not going to send payment to a Chase and later on send payment to the same Chase. Okay? So because we have redundancy, we don't need these movements. Okay? So we're going to take movements off the board. Again, America, we generally look for these three accounts. The only time we don't use one is when we have redundancy. Okay, so now we have our two accounts. We have Chase for greater results in terms of reducing interest costs, because we know when we send payment to the higher APR account, we're going to have better results in reducing interest costs. Okay, and we have the checking account for liquidity. Okay. Funds in the checking account, we could do whatever we want to do once the fund is inside the checking account. Okay? So now, which account? We have Chase and the checking account. That's the what, which account to use. And next, how much of a payment to send. Okay? So now let's figure out our numbers. America, the regular payment on the Chase is $76. Okay. And we have bills that could go on a credit card. And earlier we said the bills that could go on a credit cards are $872. Then cash flow. Okay. America, we know that cash flow is better served in the account with the higher APR, while the higher APR account is Chase, so cash flow gonna go to Chase. Okay. And again, when we send payment to the higher APR account, we have better results. Okay. So for that reason, cash flow will be better served in the higher APR account. And we've determined that our new cash flow was $193.04. Then we have absorptions or absorption opportunities. let's leave absorption alone for now. Let's move down to the next account that we have, which is the checking account. Now let's figure out numbers for the checking account. Remember, college student, his total income is $1,804.72. Okay, so it will be $1,804.72 minus all these amounts. 76 minus 872 minus 193.04. Okay, so now for liquidity, we're going to have 663. 663.68. Okay. All right. So now these are our numbers. So let's figure out all together how much Chase is supposed to receive. 76 plus 872 plus 193.04, we are at 1141.04. Okay. So now let's double check our numbers. On the checking account, we know that all these bills will go on a credit card. The bills that the checking account has to take care of will be the bills that cannot go on a credit card. And the ones that cannot go on a credit card will be, well, Chase will absorb his own amount, will get his own amount, 76, well, the new amount, this one is 76. The new amount for Wells Fargo is 243.96. And car loan is the same. We did not touch the car loan. Okay? So the bills that cannot be paid with a credit card that the checking account has to take care of, let's double check our numbers, is the haircut, $40. Okay. And Wells Fargo, $243.96 plus 243.96 plus the car loan, $379.72. 379.72. 66368, 66368. Perfect. All right, so our number is perfect. So for total in the checking account, we have 66368. Okay. So now we have our numbers. Which account we know is going to be Chase and the checking account. How much the Chase will receive? $1,141.04. $1,141.04. And the checking account 66368. 66368. Okay. The last and final question is to pay off which debt? Okay. All right. This is when America, you have to pay attention with your payment due date, especially the ones that you need cash or cash equivalent for. Okay. So to pay off which debt, that will be the workflow. Remember, college student will receive 2 paychecks, one on the 4th, one on the 18th. And the total for the 2 paycheck, $1,804.72. So let's do the paycheck on the 4th. And let's assume that these paychecks are equal. Okay? So $1,804.72 divided by 2. Because we're assuming the two paychecks are equal. So we have 90236 90236. Okay? So now, America, paycheck touched down your checking account. Okay? Now, where does the money go? Okay? Now, on the first paycheck, that is on the 4th of the month, okay? And again, we have to take a look at his bills, at his expenses, especially the ones that are coming up due or you need cash for or cash equivalent, okay? All these could be paid with a credit card and they are due on the 28th, so towards the end of the month, that's not going to be an issue, and they could be paid with a credit card. The one that can be paid with cash, he has to get his haircut done on the 14th, and he's going to get his haircut done again on the 28th. And the total is $40. So $20 on the 14th and $20 on the 28th. Okay. Chase is due on the 28th, so that's towards the end of the month, so that's not going to be a problem. Wells Fargo on the 28th, that's towards the end of the month, and that one you need cash for, or cash equivalent for. But since it's on the 28th, the next paycheck is 902. The next paycheck should be able to take off $243.96 because 902 is larger or bigger than $243.96. So that's not going to be a problem on the second paycheck. And the car loan, $379.72. The second paycheck is large enough because the car loan is coming up on the 28th, which is after the second paycheck, which is on the 18th. The 28th is after the 18th. Okay, so that's not going to be an issue. The only problem we have now is this haircut. He's going to get his haircut done on the 14th. He's going to get his haircut done again on the 28th. And the total is $40. And you need cash for that item. So $20 per haircut. Okay. The one on the 14th, if you wait on the 18th, there's going to be a problem. So you have to take out the first haircut on the first paycheck, which is the 4th. Because the paycheck on the 4th will take off everything between the 4th all the way through the 17th. That's that paycheck. And the 18th will take care of the 18th all the way towards the end of the month. So since the first haircut is due on the 14th, we have to take care of it on the first paycheck. So we have to reserve that fund inside the checking account. Okay? And the total is 40, but each haircut is $20. Okay? So we need $20 here. The next haircut is on the 28th, so the second paycheck will take care of that haircut. Okay? So on the checking account, we're going to reserve $20 to cover the first haircut. Okay? So now the remainder gonna go to the account that offers greater results, which is Chase. Okay? So you'll be now 902.36 minus $20. Okay? So now Chase on the first paycheck will receive $82.36. Okay. Now on the second paycheck, money touched down the checking account. Well, where would the money go? Okay. The checking account total needs to receive 66368. So we got 20 already, so it'll be 66368 minus the $20. So it'll be 64368, and Chase supposed to receive total 114104. So 114104 minus 882.36. Okay, so Chase will receive 25868. Okay. Now let's double check our numbers. So when you add these two up, it should equal the paycheck, the total for the paycheck. So 64368 plus 25868. Sure enough, 90236. Perfect. So our numbers are perfect. Okay. So now we've determined our numbers, which account supposed to receive how much, for which paycheck. Okay. And now let's figure out to pay off which debt. Okay. The credit card will take care of obviously all these bills. Okay. The credit card will get its own minimum payment, 76. The credit card will take care of all these bills, which total $872. The credit card will keep the cash flow, 193.04. Okay. And the checking account will take care of the 2 haircut. The checking account will take care of the Wells Fargo, and the checking account will take care of the car loan. Okay. Now, on the first paycheck, checking account will take care of the haircut, and Chase will receive $882.36. Okay. But on paper, we're showing that Chase balances got increased, but remember the due date won't be until the 28th. So you're gonna leave the fund, even though for the first paycheck, Chase received $882.36. Remember, those bills are not coming up due until the 28th. That first paycheck was on the 4th, America. So leave the money inside the Chase. Don't pay these bills yet with the Chase. Leave the money inside the Chase for as long as you could, so all the way to the 28th. Don't make the payment yet. Okay? Do not make the payment yet. Okay? Because remember, America, on these alternative accounts, we want the income to remain in the account for as long as we could. That's why as part of our prep work, we changed the due date to where all our expenses is towards the end of the month. So the funds will remain inside the alternative account for longer. Okay? Remember, America, all these things are being calculated. Average daily. Okay? So, okay. When the income's coming in, trying to have the income coming first, but when the expenses has to go up, please make sure you drag the expense for as long as you could drag the expense. In this case, we drag it all the way to the 28th. Okay? Don't pay the expenses early, even though the paycheck Chase received the funds on the 4th. Okay? Don't send the payment yet to these accounts. Okay? Until the 28th. Don't send the payment early. Wait all the way to the 28th before you make the payment. Okay? And again, folks, average daily balance. Okay? You don't want to increase, okay, that balance. You want to keep that balance low for as long as you could. Okay? So from the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all the way to the 28th, that 882 will stay inside the checking account. So the income stays in. Okay? No expenses goes out. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, you won't even be the Chase, you'll be the Wells Fargo. Okay? Because remember, we're going to charge the Wells Fargo one. You'll be the Wells Fargo. The Wells Fargo went from 6 to 20 to 70.92. Okay? So yeah, it will be the Wells Fargo, I'm sorry. Yeah, so don't charge the Wells Fargo yet. So you have to wait all the way to the 28. Not the Chase, but the Wells Fargo. Okay? On the charge part. Alright? And on the Chase part, remember, Wells Fargo is going to take care of all these accounts. So Chase, when the income goes into the Chase, it stays into the Chase, okay? No expenses has to go out because Wells Fargo is going to take care of all these expenses. Because remember, we're charging the lower APR account, not the higher APR account. So at the end of it all, the new balance for Chase will be the 2,000. That's Chase. Minus the payment, the total, 1141. Okay. 2,000 minus 1141.04. Chase new balance gonna be 85860. Put that a little bigger. 858.60. Okay, that's the new balance for Chase. Okay, and again, folks, the Wells Fargo, okay, you're gonna take care of the 872, which are these bills with the Wells Fargo. Okay, but don't pay these bills with the Wells Fargo yet. You have to wait all the way to the 28th before you make the payment. Okay, so Wells Fargo will take care of all of this, not the Chase, but the Wells Fargo. Okay, the checking account will take care of the haircut. One on the 14th, one on the 28th. Chase will absorb its own amount, okay? And the checking account will take care of the Wells Fargo credit card and the car loan, okay? And the checking account on the 18th, now this one is the reverse. On the 18th, even though the Wells Fargo is due on the 28th, this time do not wait to send the payment. Because remember, we want the income first, we want the income quick. So on the 18th, when the money touches down the checking account, okay, on the 18th, okay, send the payment quickly from the checking account to the Wells Fargo for $243.93. Okay, so don't wait on the due date. Okay, send $243.96 to the Wells Fargo from the checking account on the 18th, even though the Wells Fargo is due on the 28th. Okay, and same thing on the car loan on the 18th. Send the funds quickly from the checking account to the car loan on the 18th. Don't wait on the 28th because the car loan is due on the 28th. Don't wait on the 28th. The reason being, on the Wells Fargo, on the checking account, you're probably earning maybe 0%. to, even if you're earning 2%. Meanwhile, you're being charged on the Wells Fargo 18.24. Meanwhile, you're being charged on the car loan 5.25. Okay? So for that reason, America, do not keep the funds inside the checking account. Move it quickly on the day of the paycheck to these accounts. Okay? So now you see the dynamic. When it's payment, move the payment quickly to the alternative account. Okay? But when it's charges or expenses like the Wells Fargo, okay, wait to send the expenses, to send the charges. Wait at the end on the due date. Okay? So for payment, move it quickly. But when the expense has to go up, you cannot drag it. Wait all the way to the due date for those expenses. Okay? So we could keep the funds inside the alternative account for longer. Okay? All right, America. This is good stuff. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. All right, to recap, we do a balance transfer using Ambroise's charge pay technique, inducement first, because that one is more immediate, where we took care of the property tax and the property insurance. Okay? So the account with the lower APR got increased by the amount of the property tax, by the amount of the property insurance, plus the fee, plus the inducement, $50. So Wells Fargo got increased from $170 to $6,220 on paper. Okay? So that was the charge part. Okay? And Ambroise charge pay technique, inducement. Then we did the pay part because it was immediate. Okay? He collected the college student, he collected the cash from his parents. So now the cash was deposited into his checking account. The cash is available in the checking account, so he could easily make a payment to the Chase. So after the payment, the Chase went from $8,000 to $2,000. So 8,000 minus 6,000 is 2,000. Okay? That was on the first transfer, which was Ambroise charge pay technique, inducement. Okay? And again, Wells Fargo would have charged him 4%. He did a transfer that cost him less than 1%. So that was a good transfer to execute when you're comparing what Wells Fargo would have charged him versus what he's actually getting charged, the equivalent for the inducement, which was $50. Okay? So that was the first transfer. And then, America, we execute another transfer. This time we employ Ambroise charge pay technique, normal. Okay? And on the normal one, he uses his own funds. Well, at some point, because his income is $1,804.72. Okay, the income could cover all of his expenses. But instead of paying cash for these expenses, he's going to charge the lower APR account instead. So for that reason, Wells Fargo went up from 6 to 20. So 6 to 20 plus the 872. So now Wells Fargo is $7,092. So he's charging the Wells Fargo. Okay. So at a later time, he could pay the higher APR account, which is Chase. Okay. And that's exactly, America, how you do your balance transfers between accounts. Okay? This time we did a combo. We used the inducement one, plus we used the normal one. Ambroise charge pay technique normal and charge pay technique inducement. We use two different techniques in this example. Okay. So imagine every other month, because remember we did the steps once a month, sometimes multiple times during 1 month. So every single month you'll get to reduce or improve the balances from the debt with the higher APR, which was Chase, to a debt that has a lower APR, which was Wells Fargo. Initially, someone will follow that snowball, or someone or certain factions of Velocity Banking will try to get rid of the 170. But remember, the 170 balance is not hurting you much because it's on a lower APR, 1824. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, give me a second. America, sorry about that. So, and again, America will pay the right credit card not the wrong credit card. We'll pay off the right credit card. Look at what we've done with the Chase. We reduced the Chase, America, all the way from 8,000 to $858.60. Okay. Imagine you are gonna be paying 29.49% on 8,000. Now, America, you're only gonna be paying 29.9% only on $858.60. Okay. Remember, the following month, you could employ, if you want, Ambroise charge pay technique normal again, because 872 could go on a credit card to where you could charge the lower APR account, and so you could pay and get rid of this higher APR account. It wouldn't even be for the entire 872, it will be for something like smaller, because we will still have cash flow, we'll still have regular payments and everything else. Okay? So America, this is how you constantly, perpetually improve on your APR position. And again, America, I devise all kind of different ways to execute balance transfers. And when we're getting a head count, you remember we have normal, that's 1. Ambroise charge pay technique normal again, that's 2. Ambroise charge pay technique inducement, that's 3. Mix and match, that's 4. Melio, that's 6. Plastic, that's 7. And similar entity, normal, that's 1. Mix and match, that's 2. Ambush charge pay technique normal, that's 3. Ambush charge pay technique inducement, that's 4. Plastic, that's 5. Melio, that's 6. And similar entities, that's 7. So we have 7 different ways, America, to execute balance transfers, which in turn will improve your APR position. On our method, America, we do not pay off the wrong account. We pay off the right account in the right sequence. A mistake that the folks over at Dead Snowball is making, and some faction of Velocity Banking is making, by paying off the wrong account. And again, folks, this account was at 1824. Why are you sending payment to an 1824% account when you have a 2949% account on the board? Remember, America, these are borrowed money. And interest is the cost of borrowing money. You borrow the money, they charge you interest. For that reason, the APR is the standard, the APR is the barometer, the APR is the measuring stick. That is the account that you need to attack always. So in this particular example, Chase is the account to attack, not the Wells Fargo. Again, the Wells Fargo is at 1824%. Alright, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. Alright, America. Now earlier, we've done a balance transfer. We've done 2 balance transfers, but we've done one where it cost us 8.83%, or the equivalent of $50. Let's find out, America, how much money we're able to save for doing that balance transfer. And again, we're only talking about the inducement one for now. Okay. On the inducement one, okay, we relocate 6,000 from the Chase into the Wells Fargo. So for Chase, it'll be 6,000. And how much they're charging us on the Chase is $29.49. Remember, every time we send a dollar payment to this account, we are saving what they are charging us, okay? Divided by 12. Okay. So 6,000 America times 29.49% divided by 12. So we are at 147.45. Okay. And remember, we relocate 6,000 here to the Wells Fargo. Okay. So Wells Fargo, on the Wells Fargo, every time we send a payment to the Wells Fargo, we're saving what they're charging us, 1824, so it'll be 1824. 6,000 times 18.24% divided by 12 is 91.20. Okay? So now, if the money would have stayed inside the chase, we will get charged 147.45. Now, since we move it to the Wells Fargo, we're only getting charged 91.20. A difference of 147.45 minus 91.20, 56. 25. $56.25. Okay. So that's how much interest we're saving for the month. Now, America, we know there are other debt repayment methods that uses cash flow, mainly debt snowball and debt avalanche. So let's see how much debt snowball would save for the month. Okay. So debt snowball. And what debt snowball do, send cash flow to the lower APR account. And the lower APR account was, the lowest balance account was Wells Fargo. So in essence, that snowball will save what they're charging on the Wells Fargo. Since they're charging $18.24, you'll save $18.24. Okay. Now remember, cash flow was 184. Once you take off the Wells Fargo 170, you're still gonna have a little bit of cash flow left over, which is $14. Okay, so the $14 gonna go to the next lowest balance account. The next lowest balance account will be the Chase, because Chase is 8,000. The other car loan is at 14,000. So when you send $14 to the Chase, you will be saving what they're charging you on the Chase, which is $29.49. Okay, so let's see real quick how that snowball would do. 170 times 18.24% divided by 12 is 258. And on the $14 portion itself, $14 times 29.49% divided by 12, 0.34. So altogether, that snowball will save 258 plus 0.34, total of $2.92. Okay. Now, that avalanche is also a debt repayment method that only uses cash flow. So let's see how that avalanche would do. Okay. And that avalanche will send cash flow to the account with the higher APR. In this case, 184 will go to the Chase, which means the 8,000 will get, from the original example, the 8,000 will get reduced by 184. So in the process, they'll save what they are charging them on the higher APR account. So 184 times 29.49% divided by 12. Okay. So let's see how much that is real quick. 184 times 29.49% divided by 12. So $4.52. Okay. All right, America. Let's take a look. Using a method that will save you an interest savings $56.25 when you do balance transfers. Versus a method that will save you $292 when you use cash flow. And another method that will save you $452 when you use cash flow. America, which one would you rather do? Saving $56.25 for the month versus saving $2.92 for the month. Saving $56.25 for the month versus saving a depressing $4.52 for the month. As you could see, America, that snowball, just using cash flow, that avalanche, just using cash flow, America, will not go far enough in eliminating debt quickly. Cash flow is too small. Look at the saving for the month. $292 in the case of that snowball, $4.52 in the case of that avalanche. That saving is too small. Let's see how many times that is. 56.25 divided by 292. 56.25 divided by 492, 452. Let's see how much that, how many times that is real quick. That's over 19 times. And for this one, 56.25 divided by 452, that's over 12 times. Over 19 times greater savings in the case of that snowball, achieving over 12 times greater savings in the case of that avalanche. And again, as you could see, America, these other debt repayment group will not be able to compete. Okay? But just like I mentioned from prior lesson, balance transfers and cash flow in our method, they are not in competition with one another, with each other. They work in concert. Okay? Because in our method, we have the TAC. We have transfer, alternative account, and cash flow. Okay? We have both from our method. We have transfer on our method. Okay? And we have cash flow on our method. Whether you're dealing with a normal user, because on our method, we have two different types of users, whether it's for a normal user or for an advanced user. We have both. Okay. Transfer on our method, cash flow is also on our method. Okay. They are not in competition with each other on our method. They work in concert. They work together on our method. Okay. But if they were in competition, balance transfer in this particular example will be more beneficial to do. 56.25 versus a depressing 2.92. 56.25 versus a depressing $4.52. Alright, America, I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at this real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. Alright, America. These are some of the strategies and techniques on our method. Okay. We don't just use cash flow on our method in the case of dead snowball, dead avalanche. Okay. We have Ambroise's partitioning a balance, just like I mentioned from a past lesson. We have Ambroise's wash technique. We have Ambroise's charge pay technique, which we took care of today. We have Ambroise's charge pay technique inducement, which we cover also today. Best of both worlds, which we achieved today. Watch. The account that has the lowest APR, that is the lowest balance, is the same account that has the higher APR. That is best of both worlds. Okay? In the case of dead snowball, they'll attack the low APR, but the low APR is on a low balance. That's not best of both worlds. Okay? In the case of chase, in this particular example, okay, they'll attack the higher APR, but the higher APR is a high balance, not the lowest balance. The lowest balance was Wells Fargo 170, so that's not best of both worlds. Okay? Look at us. Best of both worlds, you have to have the lowest balance on the higher APR. Okay? And we cover all of that extensively on our past lessons. These debt repayment groups want to rush in the case of dead snowball, want to rush in and pay the lowest balance. In the case of dead avalanche, want to rush in and pay the higher APR. America, before you pay off debt, please make sure you rearrange things first. You reshuffle the deck first. Okay? Because what they gave you, okay, may not be ready for you to start sending cash flow into things right away. So make sure you rearrange the list. Okay? And how we've been rearranging our list, we've been relocating balances from debt that has higher APR to debt that has lower APR before we start doing anything. Okay? That's why on our method, America, we are transfer heavy. Before we start dealing with cash flow, okay? Before we start dealing with the other stuff, we're trying to put ourselves in the best position, okay, to succeed. Okay? Don't rush in and start sending cash flow into things, okay? That's why sometimes internally we refer to these guys, these groups, as grab and go. Methods. grab and go. They want to jump into things right away. Okay? This, America, majority of the time will not be the best approach. Okay? And over the course of 12 lessons, I've shown you better way to attack debt, to pay off debt. Look at us, America, who are able to move $8,000 on a 29.49% account. We reduced it, America, again, all the way to $858.60. And again, America, you are going to be charged $29.49 on 8,000. Before 1 month, you're only going to be charged 29.49% on $858.60. Not 8,000, but 800. And by next month, you get rid of that account, which is Chase. So we'll get rid of the right account, not the wrong account, which was Wells Fargo. How beautiful. Just like I mentioned from past lessons, America, Ambroise Method is in a league of its own. The other debt repayment group, the debt snowball, the debt avalanche, the velocity banking group, they are way down here. We are way, America, up here. These guys, these groups will never be able to compete with our method, America. Never, ever. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. All right, America. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds to take a look at what's on the board real quick, and then we're going to continue with the exercise. All right, America. You got all the savings. So for most of you who are part of that statistic, based on a study that was conducted by the Federal Reserve in 2021, where 64% of people living in America are living paycheck to paycheck, and 68% of us could not come up with $400 emergency. Okay? So once you learn how to properly pay off debt, that statistic will be improved. Okay? And a message to my financial coaches: if in the past you've been using debt snowball, if in the past you've been using debt avalanche, if in the past you've been using velocity banking, now my financial coaches, and I'm talking about every single financial coach in America, now you know that there is a better way. Okay? So move over to Ambroise Method. Okay. So congratulations, America. Again, my name is James Ambroise. I am the author, creator of Ambroise Method 1.0 and Ambroise Method 2.0. Ambroise Method is a revolutionary debt repayment method that offers greater results in terms of reducing interest cost compared to debt snowball, debt avalanche, velocity backing. Thank you, Jesus. Until next time, America. Good morning.